Channel 5 on your side starts now.
Tonight we take you inside the home where police discovered the bodies of 11 women allegedly raped and killed by an accused serial killer. After weeks of jury selection, the trial for Anthony Sowell really got started today outside the courtroom.
The jury got an inside look at Sowell's Imperial Avenue home, and that's where our team coverage begins. We're going to start with Chief Investigator Ron Regan. And Ron, no one's been in this home for more than a year and a half.
Well, you are exactly right. Sowell's home behind me has remained fenced off, gated, and locked since the fall of 2009 when the very first bodies were discovered. But for 40 minutes today, a jury went through every inch of this home. From the backyard where some bodies were buried to the house itself, it's a trip inside the world of Anthony Sowell. Court personnel wore protective masks and latex gloves for protection as they entered the home ahead of the jury. And then you're inside a first-floor kitchen, refrigerator, and microwave. Then through a doorway to a dining room, pictures still on the wall, curtains in the window, a wig and spool of thread sitting atop a TV. In the front living room, a love-seat and couch, pillows overturned. And in another room, a Valentine gift reads, "I love you," atop an open cabinet, drawers strewn on the floor in a disheveled room. An old photograph of an unidentified couple eerily looks on. Even a dusty Bible sits nearby. Much of the house sits in disarray, filthy floors and items sitting atop dressers where they were last placed sometime before Sowell was arrested. In another room, an iron still sits atop an ironing board, while papers, old clothes, and this, a bottle of Febreze, a fabric freshener, sits nearby on a window ledge. News Channel 5 photographer Bob Seeley accompanied jurors inside the home and describes what it was like.
Because I know what they found in there, I would say you smell death, but it was also a house that has been closed up for a while. Yeah, the house has an acrid odor. I did not think when they provided me with this that I would probably put it on, but by the time I hit the basement, I thought, you know, this is probably a good idea.
Well, the jury was actually divided up into 4 groups of 4, and individually those groups, one by one, went through the house. Jurors remained silent, very quiet as they looked throughout that home, all 3 stories and the basement. They said nothing, and they were told only to carefully look at each and every room. Coming up at 6 o'clock, we'll show you what jurors saw in Sowell's basement. Reporting live from Imperial Avenue, I'm Chief Investigator Ron Regan.
Okay, Ron, thank you. Outside the Imperial Avenue home, the scene looked a lot like it did back in October 2009 when police first discovered the bodies in and around the home. Police, news crews, and curious neighbors lined the street as the jury made their way into the home. News Channel 5's Dan Haggerty continues our team coverage on that part of the story. Dan, describe what it felt like in that neighborhood today.
Well, the people I talked to, Lee, basically were angry. This is known, this community, this street, for Anthony Sowell, and it's had a big impact on this community. For instance, people have moved. A business, a pizza place across the street is shut down. Ray's Sausage, infamous Ray's Sausage, is planning on moving their shop. They've been there for more than 50 years. People in this community say that they're ready for all of this to end. Police surrounded, once again, Anthony Sowell's home on Imperial Avenue. The crime tape was up, blocking the street. The media lined up to watch it all. It was a familiar and annoying sight for neighbor Andre Jones.
Yeah, I understand due process of law, but the people need closure. Let's get this out the way, tear the house down, make it a memorial, you know, and life goes on.
I talked to Andre outside of the corner store where Anthony Sowell shopped, bought groceries, and a lot of trash bags. That's according to store owner Eli Taya.
You used to come in here all the time, right?
Maybe 5-6 times a week. Sometimes twice a day.
Taya told me his business is helping keep Imperial Avenue alive, but says Anthony Sowell almost put him out of business.
What's this done to your store here across the street?
We lost a lot of business. Actually. We lost maybe at least 60% of the business. A lot of people, they moved out of here.
But many people stayed, people like Andre Jones, and will watch the rest of this drama play out.
Let's nip this in the bud. And these young girls went to school with my kids. So I have no remorse for this guy. I say let's get it over with and done.
And there weren't as many people down here as I expected when I first came down this morning. A few people from the neighborhood going to the corner store just kept walking by. Didn't stop to even check out what was going on. When I talked to them and asked them why, they said they're tired of the media being here, they're tired of the police being here, and they're tired of Anthony Sowell. Reporting live, I'm Dan Haggerty, News Channel 5.
All right, Dan, thank you very much. We're going to now head over to the Justice Center where we find News Channel 5's Tracy Carlos with a look at opening statements. Tracy?
Well, the first two of what are expected to be dozens of witnesses took the stand late this afternoon. A SWAT team member with the Cleveland Police Department was the first witness to take the stand. Officer Richard Butler told the jury he was the first officer into Anthony Sowell's Imperial Avenue home. He was one of the officers who found the first two victims in a room on the third floor of Sowell's home. 51-year-old Sowell is accused of murdering 11 women whose bodies were found at 12205 Imperial Avenue back in the fall of 2009. Before Butler took the stand, the jury heard opening statements. Now, Assistant Prosecutor Rick Bombeck told the jury he was going to take them down a disturbing journey. Defense attorney John Parker told the jury the prosecution does not have the evidence it needs to convict Sowell. Now, the second witness on the stand late this afternoon owns Ray's Sausage, which is right next door to the Sowell home. The jury heard from him, and testimony wrapped up just minutes ago. We will have much more on what happened inside that courtroom tonight coming up at 6 o'clock. And remember, you can get details of what was going on in the courtroom today on our blog. That is on newsnet5.com/Sowell. For now, reporting live